I'll be your myth buster.
Your myth buster.
Because I'll be like, no. Why am I drinking this? Because the more I drink,
it tastes better.
Hi!
Hi, I'm Louise.
And I'm a confused Ania.
And if you did not see our video on this particular rosé of Malbec, go check out that video because we do talk about the tasting notes and what we found out of it.
This reminds me of a wine.
Yes.
That I, like our Sauv Blanc from New Zealand, that I had to have 3 bottles of before you committed. This is a similar relationship.
It's a relationship. It's a builder. It's not.
It is.
This is not a Tinder date.
So today, if you watch our last video, we talked about pizza and wine pairings. Today we're going to talk about what do you do when you have leftover wine and you want to keep it. How long can you store it?
Right. So with that being said, let's talk about our rosés first.
Oh well, how about you first talk about?
We talking about.
When we're going to talk about the time that you can keep it, I'm going to tell you right now, if your wine has one of these,
screw top,
you're good to go. You can keep your goodies nice and tight and sealed, and it will last much longer, especially if you put it into this.
Into the fridge. If you're using a cork, there's going to be a little bit different.
And they keep it by the stove.
Oh, if you keep your leftover wine by the stove, you might as well just throw it out or use it as vinegar.
You're really warm.
Am I?
I know.
Because I was by the stove.
So that's why you don't want to keep your wine in the kitchen. It gets hot.
It gets too hot, like me right now. Apparently, I'm giving off heat.
So no matter what you drink,
yes,
if you are going to open up a bottle of wine and put it right here on a kitchen counter, a day or 2.
Yes.
Maybe.
At most. I was going to say, you want to make sure. So let's start instead of that, let's start with our sparkling.
You wanted
sparkling wine. I know I did want that, but now I decided sparkling wine. So if you do have any leftover bubbly, okay, so obviously there's bubbles in it, right?
Yes.
They do make champagne stoppers.
You need that. Spoon in doesn't work, let me tell you.
None of those tricks that you see, like the spoon or what other ones do they do?
Many,
like crazy things. But you know what? None of them work. You need an actual champagne stopper. It has a little push button on the top. You do need that, and it will vacuum seal your bubbles in there. However, how long is it going to last, though, in the fridge?
So the funny thing is, the question that you should ask yourself is, how do you enjoy your bubbles? Some of us like it very fizzy.
Yes.
Others prefer it on the
flat
lighter side.
or still.
Yeah. So if you're one of those, 2 weeks later, it might have just a little bit of fizz and you might still find it enjoyable.
Right.
So we're going to talk about just average taste of an average bubble.
Right.
But you know better. Wine is your journey. It is your experience. So drink it whenever you want to drink it, and you decide.
I agree. So here's the rule of thumb is that it will last maybe 1 to 3 days on average in the wine in the fridge with a wine stopper.
Because if you think about soda.
Yes. If you have a bottle of soda, even with a screw cap, obviously, a week later, you're probably going to be like, wow, this soda got flat. But here's another trick. If you don't have a wine stopper, you have leftover wine, what can you do with it?
Oh, I didn't know you were going
with the sparkling. I know. I threw you for a loop.
She did. She tests me once in a while.
I keep her on her toes.
The best trick I have ever learned is to just put it in a freezer bag. Like Ziploc, put it in your freezer. And then you, first of all, have ice for your sangria.
Yes.
And you can make slushies, which is amazing.
Totally.
You'll be the best host ever.
Who doesn't love a wine slushie? I mean, that would be awesome. I think that would be awesome.
Plus, we talked it in previous, what temperature, if you prefer your reds cold,
yes,
it is better to put a frozen bubbly in your thing than a cube of ice, because then it waters it down. This at least just gives you more alcohol.
Yes, you might as well use it to chill your future wines.
So then,
whites or rosés?
I was going to say, rosés I'm going to put in the white wine.
Yes.
White wine is tricky because you can put it in a fridge.
Yes.
And then it's like forever.
Well, the one thing
exactly.
So the one thing that I think with the light whites, so light whites and rosés, but not your full-bodied whites, okay? With that, you're gonna 5 to 7 days in the refrigerator, okay? With a cork stopper,
a little less.
Or with a screw top. The screw top's going to keep it a little bit longer. The cork, though, will work fine. Again, when you do open a bottle of wine, you're just going to put the cork in upside down and it'll fit in the bottle again.
Yep. And what you're going to find is that the longer it's in the fridge, it's going to do one of two things, actually, surprisingly. It's either going to really lose its flavor.
Yes.
Or one of the flavors is just going to overpower
it.
So it's weird. It could go either way, but
Yep.
you might open this up a week later and be like,
That's a whole new wine.
and I don't like it.
Yeah. And then in that case, if you don't taste it, and then you're like, okay, I'm just going to use it for cooking.
Yep. So now, okay, so what about, I'm going to take this away because
Yes.
it's a light rosé. What if it's like a very oaky
Chardonnay,
or
like a full-bodied white wine. Okay, so it's going to be a little less time in the fridge, so you would only be able to, it will only last about 3 to 5 days on average in your fridge with a cork or screw top on there. You know, the one thing too that was, we're talking, a lot of people use those pump things to
They
take
help
the wine.
a lot, absolutely.
You know, they do help, but some of them, if you're not doing it properly and you're pumping and then all of a sudden you let the air back in because you're putting the cap on, it's going to be useless.
Yes.
So if you don't know what you're doing with that, you know, and honestly, I don't know how to work those myself. So I know that 3 to 5
You
days
just
for my
drink
full
your
bodied.
wine.
Exactly. I'll just make sure that I get it out of the fridge within a couple of days.
No, so similar for the reds. I mean,
Yes.
I think overall, if you just follow one guideline, if you just remember 3 to 5 days,
Yes.
you'll be fine.
Yes.
If you're just drinking for yourself, okay, you taste it and you throw it out. Well, you don't, because in the future videos will tell you how to make like your own sea salt and things like
Yes.
that. You
Ooh,
never
yes.
waste wine. But if you have a friend over, or especially if you're trying to impress someone, clearly you don't want to serve it. So just keep in mind 3 to 5.
Yes.
With the reds, have you ever seen someone put a bottle of open red in the fridge? And is that a good idea?
You can, and it will actually help to maintain longer in the fridge, because red wine is going to be tricky. So red wine, you want to keep it in a cool, dark place, but a fridge is totally fine. It is only going to last typically 3 to 5 days, but it probably will last a little bit longer in there.
Yes, and then what you want to do, absolutely. And then what you want to do is when you're going to enjoy it, just take it out, 2 hours ahead and let it just sit it in one area so that it can get to room
Let it
temperature.
rest. Exactly.
I
Let it rest.
personally would, when I do that, I pour it into a decanter and then I just let it be.
Perfect. So a decanter. Oh, we're going to talk about decanters. I'm not going to spoil it. We're going to talk about.
I don't even know what she means.
Yes. 1 hour of a decanter. 1 hour in a decanter equals how long? Maturity.
That's
for the
not
wine.
on my notes.
Yeah. No. It will be in the future.
No, but you know what's on our agenda? Fortified wines.
Yes. Okay. So something that's going to be heavier, like a port wine, right? Something a little bit like that red
Sweet
wine, that
wine.
sweet red, heavy, almost syrupy wine.
Ice wines from Canada.
Ice wines, or even upstate New York. So these will last longer if you keep it in a cool, dark place.
You have a bottle that
I do off in the corner,
and
in
we've
the
been
cool, dark
enjoying
place
it
that
just
we've been
a little
enjoying.
bit at a time.
When we need it, take a sip as you walk by.
Best
This,
medicine.
exactly. This, you can go 28 days.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about those wines. So when you see someone, if you ever go over to someone's house and they're like, would you like some port? And they all of a sudden turn to their thing and you see them opening it and it's already been opened and you're like, wait, what? That's okay.
Yep.
28 days and that will be fine.
You know what else is like a month long?
One of my favorites. Go ahead.
Box wine.
Box wine.
Hey,
So
we don't
nobody
judge.
judges. We do not judge. There are some decent box wines out there.
Yeah.
So if that's your jam, go for it. Here's the thing: a box wine has a lot of wine. Was it like 3.5 bottles or something?
I think 4.
Or 4 bottles.
Yeah, the
in
black box is like 4 in
4
it.
bottles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's the thing: you're obviously not finishing that in one.
Like no, I don't know. Not one
Maybe.
person. That's questionable. I think you need a therapist at that point.
Here's the cool.
But we're
thing.
not judging.
No, we don't judge. We don't judge if that's your thing. Keep it in your fridge, and it will last you 28 days.
Yep.
So you got 4 full weeks of that box wine. So
And it's like a bottle a week. that we can totally do.
And you know what? And that is the most economical. You know, if that's your jam and you're cool with box
Yeah.
wine, have at it. You don't ever discount box wine. Some of them are really not that bad.
Now, if your boxed wine is like $7.99 and there's 4 bottles in there, I'm gonna say skip.
That's going to be a lot of sugar and a lot of hangover,
Which we've talked
which talked
previously
about before.
You want to find something that you enjoy that has really like a fair and honest price point, which
Yep.
we'll be talking about in the future videos.
Yes.
Because when you know you're getting something for really, really cheap and you're like, this is too good to be true, it is.
It is. Exactly. All right, guys, that was our tips of how long you can keep your open wine. And I'm Louise.
I'm Anya.
And don't forget to subscribe below, and we will see you later.